The story begins with a strange calm over the oceans of Earth as massive alien ships hover above the surface, their dark hulls reflecting the sunlight and casting enormous shadows across the waves below them. Smaller drones buzz like angry insects, scanning the waters for any sign of resistance. The aliens had declared the seas there's a new territory to be conquered and mapped. They deployed underwater mechs and scanning arrays that dove deep into the ocean looking for signs of life or weapons. Humans watched from above, terrified. Entire coastal cities braced for attack, sirens blaring, people fleeing to shelters or the highlands. All around the world, news channels broadcast the invasion as governments scrambled fleets to meet a threat. They had no hope of defeating the aliens, laughed, their voices transmitted through speakers over the water, confident that humans were powerless to fight back and that no force on this planet could oppose their superior technology. Their drones moved in perfect formation, small but deadly, shooting lasers and scanning the depths with beams that could detect the slightest movement. The mechs sank silently into the water, their mechanical limbs cutting through the waves like knives, searching for anything that moved. Yet deep in the ocean trenches where the sunlight could not reach and the pressure would crush any human craft, shadows moved silently, massive shapes that dwarfed even the largest alien subs. Their bodies were sleek but muscular. Some had scales that shimmered like steel, others had tentacles that rippled through the water like living whips. They circled the alien ships, observing, calculating their attacks, waiting for the right moment to strike. The humans who had managed to hide in submarines or research stations below the surface watched in awe and fear, not fully understanding what they were seeing, but knowing that these creatures were far beyond anything known to science. The aliens on their ships did not notice at first, thinking that the ocean was empty, that no creatures could match their technology or intelligence. But as the drones sent back readings, alarms began to sound, strange sonar signatures, massive movements deep in the trenches that their instruments could not fully explain. The alien commanders gathered on the bridge of the largest ship, pacing and shouting orders, their faces pale in the green light of the holographic displays. What could possibly be down there, they asked each other, a whisper of doubt creeping into their confident voices. The humans watching knew the legends-old stories passed down in secret about guardians of the oceans, beings that had lived in the depths for millions of years, protecting the balance of life in the seas. But even they had never imagined them to be this enormous and intelligent. Suspense built as the alien drones advanced closer to the trenches. The massive creatures struck in silence. At first it was subtle. A mechanical arm snapped the wing of a drone, dragging it into the darkness. Then a tentacle wrapped around a small submersible, pulling it down until it disappeared completely. The ocean seemed to come alive, moving with a will of its own, currents shifting in unnatural ways to aid the guardians in their attacks. Lights flickered on the alien ships as alarms screamed, and crew members ran to the control panels trying to understand the sudden chaos. Outside, the surface calm remained the same, waves lapping against the sides of the hovering vessels, but below, the pressure and darkness hid a force that the aliens could not comprehend and did not anticipate. The human scientist, observing through a hidden submersible, whispered to his crew, "We are witnessing something extraordinary. The ocean itself is not empty, it is alive, it has defenders, and they are choosing their moment to act." The aliens thought they had conquered the seas, that nothing on this planet could challenge them, yet every scan, every sonar ping, every mechanical sensor failed to detect the intelligence and coordination of the guardians in the depths. The humans knew the battle was about to begin. The first strike of the ocean's protectors would be devastating and swift. The aliens remained blind, confident in their superiority, unaware that a silent army waited below in the crushing darkness for the perfect moment to remind the galaxy that Earth's waters could never be taken without consequence. And as the shadows circled closer, the humans held their breath, watching in awe and fear, knowing that the invasion was about to meet a resistance the likes of which no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. The suspense built as the first colossal shape lunged from the depths, crushing a drone and shaking the water with a force that rattled the hulls of the ships above. The aliens scrambled to respond, but the guardians were faster, smarter, coordinated in a way that made every move of the intruders predictable to the watchers below. In that instant, it became clear the invaders were not ready for what awaited them in the oceans, and that Earth held secrets so ancient, so powerful that no technology in their fleet could ever match it. The waves above hid monsters whose strength and intelligence dwarfed the imagination of the alien invaders. The humans in their submersibles felt a mix of fear and hope, knowing that the battle for the oceans was just beginning, and that the galaxy would soon learn that aliens had underestimated the rulers of Earth's deepest waters completely and fatally. The creatures moved like shadows across the sonar screens, tentacles wrapping around drones, jaws snapping at mech suits with precision. Humans could only watch in awe and whisper to each other quietly as the aliens above continued to underestimate the power lying beneath their feet. The ocean had been silent for millennia, but now it had awakened, and the aliens who thought they controlled it were about to learn a lesson in fear and respect. That would echo across the stars. The suspense remained as every observer knew that the first moments of the battle were only the beginning, and that the true force of Earth's waters had not yet fully revealed itself to the galaxy. The alien fleet was still trying to understand the sudden chaos below. Drones that were supposed to map the ocean floor were ripped apart as giant tentacles surged from the trenches. Water churned violently, pulling smaller submersibles down into darkness, disappearing from sensors as if they had never existed. Alien commanders shouted orders, trying to regain control, but every move their fleets made seemed anticipated by something unseen. A human scientist, Dr. Mara Ellis, hid in a stealth submersible with her team, watching the battle unfold. "They are organized," she whispered. "They know exactly what to do. These aren't ordinary creatures, they are defending their home." Her words trembled with awe and fear. Across the water, giant silhouettes moved in perfect coordination, circling the alien ships, striking with precision. Every tentacle, fin, and claw seemed directed by a single mind, attacking weak points, dragging mech suits and drones into crushing depths. Above the surface, alien pilots panicked. Lasers fired wildly into the water, trying to protect their vessels, but the creatures dodged effortlessly, moving faster than any human or alien technology could track. Communication lines scrambled as multiple ships reported damage. The aliens' arrogance crumbled in moments. They had assumed the oceans were empty, that no intelligent life could challenge them. Now, they faced the unimaginable. Humans watched silently, holding their breath as waves above the alien fleet remained calm, hiding the deadly struggle below. The guardian creatures used currents and whirlpools to disorient the enemy, splitting the fleet into chaos. Smaller drones were crushed or carried away by the deep, leaving larger ships vulnerable. Mara signaled her team, coordinating human attack units with the Guardians, guiding submarines into ambush points. In the alien command ship, alarms screamed endlessly. The lead commander slammed his fist on a console. How is this possible? How can these creatures think and act like this? He stared at the sonar screens in disbelief as tentacles snatched drones in mid-water, crushing them before their operators could react. The humans realized the Guardians responded to subtle cues, patterns, lights, vibrations, signals only those who understood the oceans could recognize. Mara whispered into her communicator, "We are witnessing something extraordinary. They are alive, intelligent, and they trust us, somehow." The human fleet began to coordinate, sending in submarines to protect coastal areas and assist the Guardians. In the depths, the Guardians became more aggressive. Entire alien squads were dragged into trenches, disappearing beneath crushing water pressure. The ocean became a deadly battlefield where technology was no match for instinct, strength, and coordination. Alien mechs tried to retreat, but currents and tentacles blocked their escape. Ships that thought themselves invincible were dragged to the seabed, leaving smoke and debris rising through the water. Above, surface ships fired desperately, trying to protect their fleet, but the Guardians attacked from below at angles no sensors could predict. The humans on the surface coordinated with subs, creating synchronized strikes. Every alien drone destroyed or ship disabled increased panic across the fleet. For the first time, the invaders realized Earth's oceans were alive and intelligent. The suspense rose as Mara watched the battle unfold. "They think they control the seas," she said. "They have no idea what's coming next." The Guardians, sensing the humans as allies, became more coordinated, targeting command ships and priority threats. The alien fleet, once confident, was now in disarray, retreating where they could, but many vessels were already lost. From the observation decks of the human submarines, the team could see the massive shapes gliding gracefully through the depths, striking with lethal precision. The battle was far from over, but the first strike had proven one thing. No alien could ever control Earth's waters while these Guardians lived. The aliens had underestimated the oceans and humanity alike. The first clash ended with a loud silence beneath the waves. Smoke from destroyed drones and small vessels rose into the ocean layers, and the Guardians disappeared back into the trenches, leaving only shadows behind. Humans knew this was only the beginning. The oceans had awakened, and the galaxy would soon understand that Earth's waters were never meant to be conquered. Suspense. The aliens retreat, but the humans and the ocean guardians prepare for the next wave. What other secrets do the deep hold, and how far will they go to protect their planet from invaders? After witnessing the overwhelming power of the ocean guardians, humans realized they could no longer stay hidden. Dr. Mara Ellis and her team coordinated with the naval forces, sending submarines and stealth ships into the deepest parts of the trenches. Every move was calculated, every strike synchronized with the guardians. The aliens, still struggling to comprehend what had attacked them, fired frantically, but the humans now had the advantage of knowledge and strategy. Captain Daniel Reyes led the first assault, navigating a fleet of human submersibles through narrow underwater canyons. "Follow the currents, stay with the guardians, and hit only what the sensors mark," he ordered. Each submarine moved carefully, the sonar echoing warnings as shadows passed above. Suddenly, massive tentacles rose from the darkness, smashing alien drones before they could fire. Humans watched in awe as creatures they once feared now protected them, moving with a deadly intelligence that seemed almost supernatural. Above the surface, alien ships tried to respond with long-range lasers and missiles, but the ocean's pressure and turbulent currents made their targeting nearly impossible. Humans, hidden in stealth submersibles, ambushed smaller vessels, disabling engines and cutting communications. Mara watched as alien pilots screamed orders, realizing their technology was no match for the natural power below. "They think they own the ocean, but they are the intruders," she whispered. The Guardians became more coordinated with the humans, guiding submarines to weak points in alien defenses. One massive creature, bigger than any known submarine, lifted an alien drone and smashed it against the rocky seabed. Another created whirlpools that trapped small alien vessels, pulling them down into the abyss. Human torpedoes, timed perfectly with the Guardian's strikes, disabled several larger ships. The first real counterattack by humanity had begun, and the aliens had no idea how to defend themselves. Panic spread through the alien command centers. "We didn't expect intelligent life to still exist here," shouted a commander. The aliens were experts in interstellar warfare, but they had ignored the oceans entirely, assuming no threat could survive the crushing depths. Now, they were paying the price. Communication lines failed as drones were destroyed, leaving the fleet uncoordinated. Humans observed silently, their hearts racing. "This is our chance," Captain Reyes said. "We hit together, strike with the Guardians, and we take back what's ours." Submarines and ocean beasts worked as one, a terrifying force that neither side could predict. The aliens tried to regroup, firing missiles and deploying mechanical nets, but the Guardians' movements were too fast, their intelligence too advanced. The battle escalated. Drones were crushed, alien mechs dragged into trenches, and their vessels disabled by a combination of human tactics and the Guardians' natural power. Mara's team communicated constantly, ensuring humans didn't hit the wrong targets and that the Guardians focused on alien threats. For the first time, the oceans were alive with defense, and humanity had become an ally to its deepest and most mysterious protectors. The humans could feel the shift in power. The aliens were no longer confident or arrogant. Their superior technology was failing in the face of combined strategy and natural force. "They underestimated us," Mara said quietly. "They think the oceans are empty. They are about to learn what lies beneath." As the first phase of the counterattack ended, the waters above seemed calm once more, hiding the destruction below. Submarines surfaced cautiously, and the Guardians sank back into the depths, disappearing like shadows. The humans knew this was only the beginning. Alien invaders had assumed Earth's oceans were weak and manageable, but the truth was far different. Suspense. The aliens retreat to regroup, but humans and the ocean guardians prepare for the next wave. What other ancient powers lie in the depths, waiting to be unleashed? The galaxy is about to learn that the oceans are not a place of fear for humans, they are a weapon no enemy can conquer. The alien fleet had retreated to the edge of Earth's oceans, licking their wounds and scrambling for strategy. Commander Terrell of the Valari Empire slammed his fist against a console, frustration boiling. "They have allies in the water we cannot see." "Every ship we send is destroyed before it even reaches the surface," he roared. Alien officers panicked, trying to coordinate attacks from the surface, but the oceans had become a deadly labyrinth controlled by forces they could not predict. Beneath the waves, humans and the Guardians were preparing for the next phase. Captain Daniel Reyes gathered his fleet and the deep-sea vessels. "They think retreating will save them," he said. "They have no idea what's waiting for them. Today, the oceans will remind them who rules these waters." Dr. Mara Ellis adjusted the sonar readings, showing vast movements of massive creatures unseen before. Each shadow represented ancient power, awakened to protect its home. Humans coordinated attacks, using stealth submersibles to guide the Guardians toward the alien vessels, while avoiding unnecessary destruction to the environment. The first strike came swiftly. Massive underwater creatures surged from the trenches, using currents and pressure to trap alien ships. Tentacles wrapped around vessels, twisting and crushing them before the aliens could fire back. Smaller drones were tossed like toys, crushed against rocks or dragged into the abyss. Above, surface ships tried to respond, but the water itself seemed alive, protecting the humans and their allies. Captain Reyes signaled his team, and submarines launched torpedoes timed with the Guardians' attacks. The water roared with explosions, and alien communication channels were jammed by the force of the ocean. The aliens realized their arrogance had been fatal. They had assumed humans could never command the seas, but they had underestimated both technology and nature allied together. Humans began to understand the Guardians' patterns. These creatures were not just strong, they were intelligent, responding to movements, attacks, and even silent signals from humans. Dr. Ellis whispered, "They trust us. They know we are the true heirs of the oceans." Submarines moved in sync with the Guardians, creating ambushes and traps for the alien vessels. One massive creature smashed a command ship against a cliff under the sea, cracking it open and sending alien officers tumbling into the abyss. The alien fleet's panic increased. Commanders shouted over distorted communication lines, "Pull back! Pull back before more is lost." But escape was nearly impossible. The currents, controlled by the Guardians, blocked their retreat. Lasers fired from the surface were ineffective, the water distorted energy beams and slowed missiles. Every alien move was anticipated. Each ship that tried to flee became a target, dragged into crushing depths or ensnared by gigantic tentacles. Humans on submarines watched with awe as the Guardians executed complex attacks. One serpent-like creature coiled around a battleship, flipping it upside down and crushing it against the ocean floor. Another summoned a whirlpool, pulling a squad of alien mechs into the abyss. Captain Reyes grinned. This is what they didn't see coming. They thought water was weakness. It's our greatest weapon. The battle raged for hours, the ocean turning into a deadly battlefield. Alien vessels tried to regroup and form a defensive perimeter, but the Guardians and humans worked in perfect coordination. Every movement was precise, every strike deadly. Surface ships that tried to intervene were caught in underwater whirlpools, dragged into darkness, and destroyed. The aliens' advanced technology was no match for the combination of human intelligence and the natural power of the ocean. Finally, a moment of calm returned. Many alien vessels were destroyed or heavily damaged. Survivors retreated, leaving the waters littered with wreckage. Humans surfaced cautiously, watching the shadows disappear into the depths. The Guardians sank silently, their work done for now, leaving only calm waves above. Captain Reyes looked at the horizon. "We've won the first major battle. But they will return, and we must be ready." Dr. Ellis adjusted her instruments and recorded every movement. "The oceans are alive," she said. "And they have chosen us as their allies. Any invader will think twice before challenging Earth again." Humans felt pride and fear together. The Guardians were allies, but they were wild, ancient, and unpredictable. Understanding them and keeping their trust was the only way to survive. Suspense. The aliens may have retreated, but the human alliance with the Ocean Guardians has just begun. What other secrets do the depths hold, and how far will they go to protect Earth from the next wave of invaders? The galaxy will soon learn that humanity and its oceans are a force no one can conquer. The alien commanders were in chaos, retreating to the edges of Earth's waters to regroup. Every officer aboard their remaining ships was panicked, their communications filled with reports of losses they had never imagined. The Valari Empire had assumed they could control the oceans with technology and sheer force, but the humans and the Ocean Guardians had proven them wrong. Commander Terrell slammed his fist on a console. We underestimated them. This isn't just human technology, it's the oceans themselves defending Earth. On the surface, Captain Daniel Reyes surveyed the wreckage from his command submersible. The first wave of attackers had been decimated, but he knew the aliens would return with reinforcements, stronger and more prepared. We can't wait for them to strike again. We need to take the fight to them, he told his team. Dr. Mara Ellis nodded, her instruments scanning the deep trenches. The Guardians can guide us to areas the aliens can't even see. If we plan carefully, we can set a trap. The humans began organizing their counterstrike. Submarines moved silently beneath the waves, coordinated with signals only the Guardians could interpret. Each vessel knew its position, every strike timed to the movements of the massive creatures. Humans learned quickly that these Guardians were not mindless beasts, they were ancient, intelligent, and capable of understanding tactics. One serpent-like creature had already learned to herd alien drones into tight clusters, allowing humans to disable them with precision torpedoes. As the alien fleet approached again, they were unaware of what awaited them. They expected humans to fight desperately but predictably, relying on technology alone. Instead, the ocean itself had become a battlefield, alive with Guardians who struck with speed and power no machine could match. The first alien vessel entered the trap, a canyon lined with cliffs and narrow passages. Tentacles shot from the shadows, crushing the hull and dragging the ship downward. Explosions erupted as torpedoes struck simultaneously, hitting weakened points identified by human sonar. Captain Reyes communicated with all units, hold the line and strike together. Let the Guardians guide our path. Submersibles navigated through underwater canyons, dodging debris and wreckage from the previous battle. The ocean creatures moved in perfect coordination with humans, creating whirlpools and currents that disoriented alien ships and drones. Above, surface vessels attempted to support the attack but were largely blocked by the Guardians' control of the currents and pressure zones. The aliens were trapped in a deadly web, unable to regroup or retreat. Dr. Ellis monitored the battle with awe. Every move is calculated. The Guardians know when to strike and when to let us act. They understand the balance of power, she said. Humans marveled as enormous beasts lifted alien warships and smashed them against the seafloor. Smaller creatures moved through shoals of alien drones, destroying them before they could fire. Human torpedoes synchronized with these attacks, maximizing damage while minimizing human risk. The alien commanders realized they were outmatched. They are not just humans, they are one with the oceans, shouted one officer. Attempts to use energy weapons failed as water distorted the beams. Missiles were diverted by whirlpools and strong underwater currents. Every advance was anticipated, every escape route blocked. The aliens had assumed technology would be enough to dominate, but now their arrogance was their weakness. Hours of coordinated attack left the aliens scattered and demoralized. Many ships were destroyed, others disabled or forced to retreat to safer regions. The humans surfaced cautiously, breathing heavily, exhilarated by their victories. Captain Reyes looked across the horizon and knew the oceans had proven their strength, but they had only just begun. We have shown them what humans and the oceans together can do, he said. But the war is not over. Dr. Ellis adjusted her equipment, scanning for signs of hidden alien vessels. There may be more lurking in the depths. The Guardians are our allies, but we must respect their power. We cannot let overconfidence lead to disaster. Humans understood that the oceans were alive with ancient forces, guardians that had chosen them as protectors. Trust and coordination were key. Any misstep could have catastrophic consequences. Suspense. The first phase of the counterstrike has been successful, but the alien forces are regrouping, preparing for a more devastating assault. Humans and the Guardians must anticipate the next move, or Earth could face destruction. What other secrets do the oceans hide, and how far will the Guardians go to protect humanity from the invaders? The next battle will determine whether Earth remains free or falls into alien hands. The alien fleet, battered and humiliated, had retreated to regroup beyond the continental shelves. Their commanders were furious, blaming one another for underestimating the humans and their mysterious ocean allies. Commander Terrell slammed his claws against the bridge console. "This is unacceptable. We cannot be defeated by mere humans and, whatever those creatures are, prepare for total retaliation." His officers scrambled to repair ships, reinforce weapons, and strategize an all-out attack. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans and ocean guardians were preparing for the next phase. Captain Daniel Reyes gathered his strike team aboard the largest submersible. "They think we are cornered. They think the oceans belong to them. We will show them just how wrong they are," he said. Dr. Mara Ellis displayed holographic maps of the deep trenches, showing currents, caverns, and areas the aliens had no idea existed. "This is where the Guardians hold the advantage. We will lure them into the abyss, where we control everything," she explained. The humans deployed small, stealth submarines to scout and create illusions. The Guardians swam in massive formations, hiding in shadows, silent and invisible to alien sensors. The aliens approached cautiously, confident that their numbers and weapons would overwhelm anything they might face. But as they entered the deep trench zones, the water itself seemed to come alive. Currents shifted violently, and massive shapes appeared from the darkness, circling the alien ships. Tentacles, fins, and scaled limbs moved in perfect synchronization with human instructions. Suddenly, the trap was sprung. The aliens' lead battleship was snagged by enormous tentacles, lifted high above the seabed, and smashed into the canyon walls. Smaller escort ships were pulled into whirlpools created by the Guardians, trapped and destroyed before they could fire. Humans maneuvered submarines to strike weak points, firing torpedoes in precise coordination with the Guardians' attacks. Explosions rocked the water, sending shockwaves that disabled the alien fleet's communication systems. Above the surface, some alien vessels attempted to intervene, launching missiles and energy beams. But the Guardians manipulated the currents, redirecting attacks and neutralizing threats. Every time an alien ship tried to escape, the ocean closed in, dragging them back into the abyss. Captain Reyes watched as another alien command ship was crushed by the jaws of a massive creature, its hull torn apart in seconds. He could hardly believe the coordination and intelligence of the Guardians. Dr. Ellis monitored sonar readings, noting the incredible precision of the Guardians. "They know our moves before we even make them," she said. "It's as if they understand strategy, tactics, even war." Humans realized that the Guardians were not only protectors of the ocean, but allies who had chosen them to defend Earth. This symbiosis was the key to victory, blending human intelligence with ancient, natural power. The alien commanders were desperate now, their fleets in disarray. Panic spread across their ranks. "Pull back! Pull back!" shouted one officer, but escape was almost impossible. The Guardians herded them like prey, and humans struck with surgical precision. Entire squadrons were annihilated, leaving only scattered ships, battered and broken, to retreat. The battle had turned into a massacre, a display of what humans and Earth's waters could do together. Finally, the ocean calmed, leaving wreckage and silence in its wake. Captain Reyes surfaced and looked across the horizon, breathing heavily but proud. The Guardians disappeared back into the depths, their duty fulfilled, leaving humans to maintain watch and prepare for whatever might come next. "We've won today," he said. "But the aliens will be back. They will remember this day. We need to be ready." Dr. Ellis adjusted her instruments, scanning for any remaining alien presence. "The oceans have secrets we've only begun to uncover. These creatures, these depths, they are our allies, but wild and powerful. Respect is everything." Humans understood that controlling the seas wasn't just about technology. It was about trust, coordination, and respecting the ancient forces that had chosen them. Suspense. The first major victory is complete, but the aliens will not forget. They are wounded and enraged, preparing for a counterattack that could be more dangerous than anything before. The guardians of the deep may hold the key to survival, but humans must anticipate every move, or Earth could face total annihilation. The final battle looms, and the oceans hide more secrets than anyone realizes.